What are state revenue bonds and how do they work? Have you ever wondered how states fund large public projects without raising taxes? One of the key tools they use is state revenue bonds. Let's break down what these bonds are and how they function. State revenue bonds are a type of municipal bond issued by state governments. They are specifically designed to finance public projects that generate their own revenue. This means the money to pay back these bonds comes from the income produced by the project itself. For example, tolls from a highway or fees from a water utility can be used to repay the bondholders. Unlike general obligation bonds, which are backed by the full faith and credit of the state, revenue bonds relying solely on the revenue generated by the project. This is an important distinction because it means that revenue bonds do not requiring voter approval and are not subject to the same debt limits that apply to general obligation bonds. So, what types of projects are typically financed with state revenue bonds? Common examples include water and wastewater systems, toll roads, airports, and power plants. These projects are often managed through enterprise funds, which operate like private businesses. This ensures that the revenue generated from these projects is kept separate from the state's general funds. Now, let's talk about the risks involved. Since the repayment of revenue bonds depends entirely on the project's ability to generate income, they carry a higher risk compared to general obligation bonds. As a result, they often offer higher interest rates to attract investors. Before issuing revenue bonds, states usually conduct a feasibility study. This study assesses the engineering, economic, and operational viability of the project. States must also provide regular audited financial statements to maintain transparency and build investor confidence. A key financial metric for these bonds is the debt coverage ratio. States typically aim for a ratio of at least 2-to-1. This means the project's revenues should be at least double the amount needed to cover bond principal and interest payments. One of the benefits of state revenue bonds is that they do not increase the state's general debt burden. Since they are not backed by tax revenues, they do not affect the state's credit rating in the same way that general obligation bonds do. In summary, state revenue bonds are a vital financing tool for state governments. They allow for the funding of essential infrastructure and public service projects without raising taxes or impacting general obligation debt limits. By carefully structuring these bonds and conducting thorough financial analysis, states can protect their interests while ensuring that the pledged revenues are reliable for repayment.